Then she falls to the floor. She was in complete disbelief, even crying because for the longest time she thought her husband was dead. In this moment of confusion, as Damien tried to explain things, Dr. Albright's people popped into the house, quickly disabling the lady with their chloroform, I believe, then tried to capture Damien. That his friend Anton was even part of the goons that showed up. Apparently this fellow was even working for Phoenix Biogenetics and Dr. Albright. He has also been spying on Damien from the beginning. So, Anton tries to explain to Damien, or Edward, or whoever that is, that Mark actually agreed to give his body for money. This is because he needed the funds to take care of his daughter's treatment. Anton went as far as trying to convince Damien to leave the house without any issues, because nothing would be left when they are done with the place. However, because Damien is a good guy deep down, he decides to fight off Dr. Albright's men and save the lady. Remember that the original owner of the body, Mark, was in the military. So using those skills, he manages to kill a few of Albright's men. When he finishes, he wakes the lady up. Let's call her Madeline going forward. But during the fight, he loses his pills. That crafty Anton then tries to burn down the house with Damien and Madeline inside. But they sharply went under the platform of the house and started shooting at their legs. When he manages to kill everyone, him and Madeline, Mark's wife, they quickly run to the car. But Damien still lied to her, claiming to be her husband. He even said that he was paid to do some dirty, wet job like that so he can pay for their daughter's medical bills. Their daughter is Anna. From there, they headed to Anna's school to get her before Albright's men would get to her first. The moment Anna sees the man, she also believes that Papa is home and runs to him for a very big hug. She was even shouting, "I knew you were not dead, I knew you were not dead." Well, that's not what she was shouting, but close enough. When they got to a safe location, Damien continued his research and discovered that Albright was actually a student of Jensen before. Next thing, he found the address of Dr. Jensen's wife, Phyllis. Don't ask me how. He now decides to go pay Phyllis a visit. She's currently staying at nursery home for old people now. Once he got there, he pretended to be a former student of Dr. Jensen. Damien claimed that he was doing some research work and he was hoping to get the good doctor's old research papers and documents. Well, I do not believe that is how it works, but okay, let's go on with the movie. When he was there, he discovered that this Albright doctor man used to visit Phyllis every week. Now he puts 1 and 7 together and quickly figures out that Albright is actually the same person as Dr. Jensen. That Jensen is using Albright's body, and thus, the plot thickens. Now guess what your boy Damien does? He asked Phyllis to call Albright and invite him over. Just like that, the doctor was not alerted. He even came over. When Damien sees him, he points a gun at him, asking for more pills like his life depended on it. That's how Dr. Albright told him some hard truth. See Damien, the more you take those pills, the faster that Mark fellow disappears from your life. But Damien had other plans, so he kidnaps the good Dr. Albright and requests that he's taken to the lab where it all began. But as they were walking down the hallway, you guessed it right, Albright's men were waiting for them and they quickly attacked and disarmed Damien. As they were taking Damien to a black vehicle, Madeline showed up and attacked one of Albright's men. To her very surprise, that was actually Anton in an entirely new body, easy as changing to a new Gucci shirt. Damien somehow managed to fight off the other guards. But before Mark and Madeline escaped, Anton craftily mentioned to Madeline that Damien is hiding something from her. He even asked her to ask Damien or Mark, or whatever his name now is, about their daughter's birthday. When they got into the car, Madeline was curious about what Anton had said, so she requested that they pull over once they had lost Albright's men. She decides to ask Mark or Damien about Anna's birthday and other personal details about their life that Mark should easily know. But as we know, Damien does not have these details, so he cannot answer the questions. Caught in his web of lies, he decides to come clean and explain everything. As he was sharing the details with Madeline, their daughter was in the background wondering what was happening. As expected, Madeline gets very angry because Damien manipulated her and her daughter. But Damien remembers his friend Martin and he decides to get help from him. They decide to keep Anna and Madeline in his house as a safe location. Once they reach the house, Damien told Martin the whole truth and described something only the two of them will know. Martin then decides to help them. The moment both of them were safe in the house, Madeline started feeling some things for Damien. You know now, Damien is still in her husband's body, and the body has a mind of its own sometimes. When she was listening to his heartbeat and tries to kiss him, Damien starts feeling uncomfortable. In the process, he started sharing details about Claire, his daughter, and the two of them have a great conversation. But out of nowhere, Damian notices that the mirrors in Martin's houses are covered. He remembers that Martin's son died 2 years ago. His spider senses start tingling. Somehow, out of nowhere, I don't even know myself, Damian figures out that Martin also brought his child to Phoenix Biogenetic and gave the boy a new body. Apparently, Martin had snitched to Albright and his men were already waiting outside to kill them. Damian decides to tell Martin the truth about the little boy's body that was used. He said it was not created in a lab. It was actually a real child. Obviously, Martin could not believe it. He was so disgusted and decides to help them. He takes Madeline and Anna to an actual safe location, while Damian drives off in a car to lead them away. Next thing we know, a car chase with Albright's men starts like that. During the chase, Albright's men and Damian all get involved in a serious car accident. Once the whole action ended, Damian comes out of his own car to confirm whether everybody's dead. From there, he sharply went to the diner where he's meant to meet up with Martin, Madeline and Anna. But Martin delivered bad news to him. Martin said that he was the only one there and that Madeline and Anna somehow got ahead of him in the forest, that they received help from a stranger in a shady-looking vehicle in the middle of the road. Come on, Madeline, why now? Little did they know, those were Albright's men. They were kidnapped and Martin couldn't help them because of how far they were from him. But on a brighter note, Martin managed to crack the formula for Albright's pill and he can re-engineer them from scratch. This is a game changer. In the meantime, Damian decides not to take more pills. This way he can make use of Mark's memories to find out more information about where the lab can possibly be. However, Damian experiences intense withdrawal symptoms that night, including trouble sleeping and heavy sweating. But during his withdrawal phase, he sees a Mardi Gras float storage near Albright's lab. The next day, he heads to New Orleans and finds the lab exactly next to the Mardi Gras storage. Using his army skills, Damian breaks in and takes out a few guards quietly. When he got to the room that contains the machine for transferring consciousness, he sees 2 bodies. Out of nowhere, Dr. Albright appears behind the glass wall. He tells Damian that his wife's body and daughter's organs will be put to good use. Once Damian hears this, he loses his cool and starts shooting at the glass protecting Dr. Albright. But suddenly, 2 of Albright's men enter the room and immediately disarm him. Dr. Albright said that Damian's body will be used as a new host for Anton's consciousness. He struggles a bit with Albright's men and falls to the floor. Before they could take him to the machine, he finds a bullet and swallows it without anybody seeing him. Next thing we know, Anton wakes up in Mark's body. Albright was asking different questions to confirm if that was really Anton. Once he was sure, Anton was sent on a mission to kill both Madeline and Anna. But when he entered the room that both were staying in, he quickly turns and kills the guards instead of Madeline and Anna. To our great shock, that was Damian all along in Mark's body. Well, imagine that. The 3 of them find themselves in a room separated by a glass wall to another room currently occupied by Dr. Albright. Damian told the doctor exactly what he did. He remembered that the transfer of consciousness will not work if there is any metals on the body. With the bullet Damian swallowed, this prevented the Frankenstein science project from working. However, Albright was confident and did not think that Damian would kill him because he's the only one that knows the formula for the pill. Of course, he's a real joker. Your boy Damian also knows the formula now, through Martin's help of course. Knowing this, Damian burns the doctor with a Tesla-like flamethrower. They all escape the lab with Anna and Madeline leaving to the safe location that was planned by Martin. However, Damian decides to go see his daughter, his actual daughter Claire, but he pretends to be his father's friend. He tells Claire that her father Damian regretted not spending quality time with her as a child and that he was very proud of her. Before leaving, he gives her a letter from her father. Damian suddenly wakes up in a hotel room. He's very confused and sees a video of himself on a laptop. Apparently, Damian decided not to stay in Mark's body. Damian stopped taking the pills, meaning that Mark's consciousness took over, completely giving Mark his life back. Now Mark is in total disbelief, but knows that he has a second chance at life. He then travels to join Madeline and Anna, who are now living on a beautiful tropical island. But that's the end.